Hi, my name is Aliyah Osman, and I'll be presenting my summer research on effectively reducing salt accumulation with shape memory alloys. Access to clean water is an issue to many countries across the world. This is a map that illustrates how dire water stress will become in the next 20 years. Many may have access to water sources like rivers, seas, or oceans, but they're salted and contaminated and therefore undrinkable. Commercial desalinators can clean seawater, but it's costly and requires a lot of energy. Instead, solar desalination can be an affordable way of acquiring drinking water. With shape memory springs, hydrogel, and a body of water, a diagram of the experiment is designed to identify important parameters. These parameters lead to a force balance model, which is developed to help guide the device design. On the right, there's a diagram that shows the three main forces acting on the hydrogel. You have the spring force, the buoyancy force, and the gravity force. A passive desalination device is then created with the shape memory alloys to test the hypothesis. The alloy's spring format further enables a passive day-night cycle that submerges hydrogel at night and raises it at day from a body of water, as demonstrated in the diagram with the sun and moon. We want this mechanism to occur to allow the salt to dissipate and detach itself from the hydrogel, and therefore reducing salt accumulation. For the characterization, there are three main challenges that we want to address. The first one is, will the sunlight be sufficient to change the shape memory alloy? To answer this, springs were painted black to increase heat absorption. Furthermore, the spring undergoes changes when its temperature is over 35 degrees Celsius. So to test if the solar simulator is strong enough, a spring is placed under the simulator to see if it contracts. As seen in the pictures, when heat is applied, the temperature on the spring is 40 degrees Celsius, which satisfies the requirement of having 35 degrees Celsius to contract the spring. This shows that one sun's solar irradiation is sufficient to create a contraction in the shape memory alloy at 40 degrees Celsius. The second challenge that we want to address is, what is the effect on the shape memory alloys with temperature? In other words, what is the physical change of the spring when exposed to different temperatures? We can answer this by evaluating the spring constant. Two spring constants were measured, one when heat is applied and one when heat isn't applied. As seen in the graph, the spring constant is doubled when the shape memory alloy is heated, therefore contracting the spring and making it tougher. The third challenge that we want to address is, can we cycle the hydrogel to achieve the cycling process? This can be answered by using the force balance model mentioned before. By inputting this model in a coding software named MATLAB, we were able to test the necessary values for the hydrogel. This can be seen in the following graph, where it models what a day-night cycle would be like. In the graph, we're looking for a large gap of how heavy the hydrogel can be. So we want the purple shaded area to be as big as possible to ensure that we can visually see when the hydrogel is fully submerged or not submerged in water. If the gap is too small, it will be hard to see a clear difference between a fully and partially submerged hydrogel. Here's a demonstration of how effective the day-night cycle is. For the demonstration, 1 gram of salt was poured on top of the hydrogel. For the first trial, the hydrogel underwent a 1 day-night cycle, and for the second trial, the hydrogel did not. As a result, the hydrogel with the day-night cycle displayed low salinity levels. For future work, we plan on building an improved device with the results of this project and with the force-bound model. We also hope to run this test outside under sunlight for a more real-world application and test the efficiency of the device with seawater. And to conclude, the shape memory alloys were proven to be effective in reducing salt accumulation. A force balance model was used for determining the key parameters of this experiment, and finally, it was possible to characterize the thermal and mechanical properties of the spring under solar illumination. In the end, I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Yaodong and Dr. Mohammed for providing the hydrogel samples and the DRL lab for their support on this project. Thank you.